It's all too easy to wake up each day and take our lives and the lives of our loved ones for granted, but tomorrow is never promised. Tragically, tomorrow was stolen from 7 Chicago families when their relatives were murdered after they ingested cyanide-laced Tylenol capsules. The victims included 12-year-old Mary Kellerman, who was poisoned by pills containing 100 times more cyanide than what was necessary to kill her. In 1982, several innocent people died because of one man's bid to extort $1 million from Johnson & Johnson. This is the chilling true story of the Chicago Tylenol murders. On Wednesday the 29th of September 1982, Mary Kellerman's parents decided to keep her home from school that day as she woke up feeling unwell, not knowing that this decision would be fatal. Her father, Dennis Kellerman, hears her go into the washroom and shut the door. She proceeded to take the Tylenol capsules that were stored in the family's medicine cabinet, which happened to be a batch that contained cyanide. He hears something drop and asks if she is okay, but he gets no response. He calls out to her a second time, but again receives no response. He opened the door to find her on the floor. At this point, he calls paramedics, hoping she'll be okay. Dave Spung was the first paramedic to arrive. He began performing CPR on Mary and administering different types of medications in order to elicit a response from her. Sadly, it wasn't enough. She was pronounced dead at 9:56 a.m. at Alexian Medical Center in Elk Grove Village. The medical examiner's office then interviewed Dennis Kellerman via telephone. The police went round in person to check it was the same story. The Tylenol capsules were recorded in the paramedics' report, but foul play was ruled out at this point as Dennis's story had checked out. What happened to Mary was just the beginning of a deadly nightmare that was slowly unfolding on the people of Chicago.
Cyanide-contaminated Tylenol has been responsible for 3 deaths in the Arlington Heights area. Do not take Tylenol until further notice.
Arlington Heights police demonstrated tonight how they have been warning residents throughout the day. And in Chicago, police notified all officers of the threat.
This product may be contaminated with cyanide and should be destroyed.
The first death yesterday morning was in Elk Grove Village, a 12-year-old girl, Mary Kellerman. And then in Arlington Heights, the deaths of 2 brothers and the critical illness of one of their wives. Now tonight, a 4th death in the DuPage County town of Winfield has been linked to the altered medicine. And in Downers Grove, still another death suspected of being cyanide poisoning. The bottles were...
On the same day, 27-year-old postal worker Adam Janus didn't go into work as he said he was feeling like he was coming down with a cold. He went to pick up his kids from school and on the way back home, he purchased some Tylenol capsules from the local pharmacy. He said he was going to take 2 pills and then go and lie down. Then suddenly, he came staggering into the kitchen and collapsed. He was taken to hospital, and according to the medical director, they were unable to resuscitate his heart. His death was signed off as probable cardiac arrest. Adam's brother, Stanley, and his wife, Teresa, were about to succumb to the same horrifying fate only a few hours later. 3 more victims would unknowingly take cyanide-laced Tylenol capsules the very same day: Mary Rayner, Mary McFarland, and Paula Prince. The initial investigations led detectives to James William Lewis, who was arrested after writing and sending a letter of extortion to Johnson & Johnson. He demanded $1 million to stop tampering with the capsules produced by the pharmaceutical giant. During his trial, Lewis said that He intended only to focus the attention of the authorities on his wife's former employer. WCVB Channel 5, based in Boston, reported that court documents released in early 2009 show that Department of Justice investigators concluded that Lewis was responsible for the poisonings, despite the fact that they did not have enough evidence to charge him. Then, in January 2010, both Lewis and his wife submitted DNA samples and fingerprints to authorities. Lewis said that, "If the FBI plays it fair, I have nothing to worry about." Lewis continues to deny all responsibility for the poisonings. Roger Arnold was identified as a second suspect, but was ultimately cleared of the killings. During the investigations, he had a nervous breakdown due to the media frenzy and attention, which he blamed on bar owner Marty Sinclair. In the summer of 1983, Arnold shot and killed John Stanisha when he was leaving a bar with his friends, whom he mistakenly identified as Sinclair. He was convicted of the killing in January 1984 and only served 15 years of his 30-year prison sentence for second-degree murder. Laurie Dan, who poisoned and shot a number of people in a May 1988 rampage in and around Winnetka, Illinois, was briefly considered as a third suspect, but no direct connection was ever found. The Tylenol murders inspired the pharmaceutical industry to develop tamper-resistant packaging and improved quality control methods. Product tampering also became a federal crime. These new laws resulted in Stella Nichols' conviction in the Excedrin tampering case, for which she was sentenced to 90 years in prison. Additionally, the incident prompted the medicine industry to move away from capsules, which were easy to contaminate as a foreign substance could be placed inside without obvious signs of tampering. Within the year, the FDA introduced more stringent regulations to avoid product tampering. This led to the eventual replacement of the capsule with the solid caplet, a tablet that's made in the shape of a capsule as a drug delivery form, and with the addition of tamper-evident safety seals to different types of medicinal bottles. As a final thought, I want to remind all of us that we need to hold our family and friends a little bit closer. Tell them you love them more often and never leave the house on an argument. You never know what's going to happen that day. Don't regret leaving a situation unresolved. Apologies it's taken so long to get this video produced and uploaded. The last few years of my life has been chaotic, stressful and uncertain. I left Strangeries open and never deleted the channel as I always knew I'd be back. I just didn't know when. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that it has satisfied your thirst for some new Strangeries content. My videos won't be released on a regular schedule as I have several things in my personal life that take up a lot of my time, particularly my business. But I'll try to release new videos as often as I can. I'll see you next time everyone. Ciao!